One-on-one conversations are one way that we can build relationships again. And that's the one we're going to focus on today. Because for me, it's the bread and butter of an organizer's work. I always thought, now that since the organizer-in-chief Obama became really popular, people like to say that they are community organizers. And I always ask them, when was the last time you had a one-on-one? And if they're like, if they can tell me with certainty that it was yesterday or the day before that, I am always doubting if this person is truly organizing. Because one-on-ones is the bread and butter, are the bread and butter of organizing. That's when you get to connect to build relationships. I identified 3 ways for having one-on-ones. One of them is connecting. So the initial introductory one-on-one is connecting. The second one is a check-in. And the third one is what I call empowering. This is a methodology that is utilized by many, many people. The PICO network, for example, in California uses these types of one-on-ones as well. They all have a different function. And today we're actually going to go through each one of them. What they look like, what they feel like, and how are they done. But one last thing I want to add is that I also believe that the power of one-on-ones has to continue evolving. Let me give you an example. The other day, I was at a protest. I don't know if you remember that President Trump came to Phoenix to pardon Arpaio. He actually pardoned him later. But to pardon Arpaio, and we did a big rally in Phoenix to protest his visit. During that time, when we were in that space, there was an organizer who was trying to get people to have a conversation with her about the building of this freeway that will go through tribal community lands. So they are trying to push back against the building of this bridge of the freeway. I didn't know anything about this. And she did something that I didn't know, something that we can start doing more often now. She said, "Hey, Luis, nice to meet you." She told me, "You know, I saw you earlier, and I saw that you were actually in charge of the cleanup and trash collection. So I wanted to ask you if we could talk a little bit about this issue that is happening in my community." And I said, "Yeah, sure, let's schedule. Here's my email," right? Like I just was trying to say it for later. She's like, "No, let's talk right now. Do you have 15 minutes? And I was like, oh my God. So I said, okay, let's talk while we wait, right? So I said, all right, let's do it. And she actually had a one-on-one with me right there at the protest. She started asking me questions. And when I was like, after about 10 minutes, I realized I was having a one-on-one with her. I was being organized. And I realized it because she started asking open-ended questions about me and my interest and the way that I identify with my Native American, or in this case, with my indigenous roots. It was a very interesting conversation that really opened up my eyes to even this identity that I've always carried with me, which is, I am part Yaqui. What does that mean? So I started asking her those questions. She's like, you should come to one of our ceremonies and learn more about it. I was like, of course. So this is the way that in these times of resistance, we're having to figure out how to organize. We used to have the privilege of having weeks to have a one-on-one or follow-up. We're having to do it much faster, with much more urgency, and in much more creative ways than we used to. Our methods of organizing in the past are the basis and the roots, the fundamentals of the organizing of today, but we had to get more efficient. We had to be better. We had to be faster. We also had to be better at inclusivity. We had to learn more about how to include more voices. We had to analyze our stuff. So like, I am doing something that I used to not do, which is analyze the people that I'm meeting with. Am I really meeting with the people who are most impacted, or am I just meeting with people who are saying yes? If I'm always meeting with people who are saying yes, then I'm not building a real movement. I'm just talking to a bunch of activists. What I need is to build a movement of the people who are the most impacted. Am I really meeting with those people? Am I actually helping recruit leaders from those communities? Am I helping train people from those communities? So I'm looking at data more often now than I used to look at those things.